Most people, when they think of video editing, they think of the technical stuff, cutting clips in a timeline, adding effects, transitions, using keyboard shortcuts, all of those mechanical sort of things that we know as editing. The thing is, just knowing how to use an editing software is only half the battle. I mean, you could know everything there is to know about Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut, whatever it might be, but that still doesn't necessarily make somebody a good editor. Now, recently I went down the rabbit hole of watching a whole bunch of social media content. We're talking homemade product commercials and B-roll, and I had an interesting realization. Something I noticed about a lot of these videos is that while the shots individually are really good, the overall sequences as a whole could be so much better, and this is with one incredibly simple fix.
All right. 3 kilo.
I want you to forget all about plugins and programs for a second and just think about the creative decisions that are made in the editing process. Over the weekend, I filmed my friend Jem making some orange juice, a simple sequence that I thought would drive home the topic of this tutorial. And as per usual, we filmed a whole bunch of shots until we felt like we had enough to work with where we could tell the story about how some fresh orange juice is made. Groundbreaking stuff, I know. Now, the footage itself is fine, it could be better, it could be worse, but at this stage, it's just a matter of what we do with said footage that'll determine if we have an engaging video or not. So now let's talk about where, unfortunately, I think a lot of video creators are going wrong. In video editing, there is something called pacing, and we generally think of pacing as the timing of shots. Maybe it's how it's lined up with the music, maybe it's the duration of the shots themselves, but there is another aspect of pacing that is even more important, and I like to call it the action window. Anytime you're filming a shot that is planned or scripted in some sort of way, that could be a film or a product commercial, even a YouTube tutorial, the action window is that portion of the shot where stuff is happening. For example, in this shot, I hit record, we'll maybe roll for a few seconds, then once I say something like 3, 2, 1, go, the action will begin, and this is the start of the action window. The movement or gesture we're capturing might last for only a split second, or it could go on much longer, but once that movement stops, this is now the end of the action window, and I might still record for a couple of seconds afterward, you know, just in case. So what's the problem here, and why am I telling you about the action window? Well, in a lot of videos I've seen recently, many people are cutting their clips outside of the action window. Sometimes a shot will start before the action window begins. This is what I like to call a delayed action. Now, sometimes you have the opposite where a shot lasts longer after the action window has already ended, and this is what I call a lingering shot. Imagine how awkward this tutorial would be if before and after everything I said, I didn't put a jump cut right away. I just kind of sat there and stared at you. It'd be pretty awkward, right? Yeah, exactly. I don't think any of us enjoyed that, so why would it be different for any other kind of video? With these delayed actions and lingering shots, you end up with a sequence that feels disjointed or awkward because those subtle yet detectable hesitations in the sequence disrupt the flow of the overall video. And it really doesn't take much. Sometimes I find only leaving a frame or two, either before or after the action window, can throw off the entire flow of a sequence. I like to think of it like I'm driving on a highway, and if you're stuck in bumper to bumper traffic and you're stopping and starting and stopping and starting, this is unsettling and it's not enjoyable. It's actually far less enjoyable than being on a nice, smooth, open highway on cruise control. And when you watch this orange juice sequence, I want you to notice how the video is always in constant motion. It's like that smooth, open highway. Each and every shot starts with a movement already in progress that continues through to the end of the shot. From now on, when you're watching videos online, I want you to pay attention to this and see how often people are having delayed actions and lingering shots throughout their sequences, and you will notice how disjointed and awkward these videos turn out. Now, like anything, there are of course exceptions to this depending on the video itself and a whole variety of factors, but this notion of maintaining a movement throughout a shot from the start through to the end is a good habit to get into.